Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast.
Yay.
Woo! My name is Caitlin, and joining me today are...
The Jake!
A Chris.
Some Ames.
And we're here for episode 167.
Wow.
Nice.
That's only two away.
From the sex number. The sex number.
With the one. So one person is just standing there
One,
watching.
yeah.
I will take 169, please. Oh no, poor Chris. Oh, Jake, you're evil. Well, we're not going to talk about
Our
sex.
poor listeners.
No, because Chris will cut it out because he's nice.
He
Maybe.
Don't cut out the slurping 69 sounds.
Well-
You're listening to the slurping sounds of 69.
This is why we don't get new listeners.
Hell is empty
Oh,
and all
my
the
God.
devils are here.
Speaking of new listeners, I tried to tell you guys this, and I don't know if you saw it. I would guess Jake might be the only person that didn't see it. So I have a friend that I know only through the sticker community on Facebook. That's how we met.
Community.
On Facebook. Just pretend that you don't care what that is. We all just trade stickers. Don't worry about it. We're adults who trade stickers.
We have books and books of
Lisa Frank.
links to Frank.
Hand them
They're
over.
they're not ours. They're
Oh.
flat earths.
Oh. Anyway, cock tease.
You can
So,
have them.
yay! Okay, thank you.
I just inventoried them.
Anyway.
So this friend who I know through a sticker community on Facebook who lives in Utah, she was randomly recommended our podcast by another friend who it's not someone we know.
How do you know it was our podcast?
Because I said, oh, was it A Star to Steer Her By? And she was like, oh my god, yeah, that's it. She recommended you guys. And she opened with, there are people on it called Caitlin and Chris. And wouldn't that be a weird coincidence? Have you been holding out on me? And I was like, yeah, I literally have a podcast. And she was like, holy shit. So...
You think it's not more likely that she just found this podcast and she was trying to look for dirt on you?
Are you calling my friend a liar?
Yes.
All right, Amy, you heard. Jake thinks you're a liar. Anyway, okay.
Wait, and her name's Amy?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I know.
Fuck!
It's a conspiracy. Anyway, I thought it was really
Her
fucking...
dog's name's Jake, isn't it?
Yep.
Damn it.
She takes him out back every
Jake?
night and beats him because she thinks
It is a dog's
Jake
name.
is a great dog's name.
It's
Actually,
I've known several Jake dogs.
She does have a dog, but I don't believe that its name is Jake. I don't remember what it is, but it's not Jake. Anyway, I just wanted to mention.
We named the dog Indiana.
We're here for 167. We've already celebrated, and today we're going to talk about 2 Deep Space Nine episodes.
Hot shit.
The Collaborator and a Tribunal. So the Collaborator. This is a good one, actually. I really like this one. So...
What is it?
Collab, for short.
It is an episode. We open with, I know you don't like me to do it this way, but I have to mention it. Kira and Vedek Bareil are totally doing the bangity bang bang,
Why
which
don't
is
we
great.
like this?
No, I just mean because sometimes I get too detail oriented in the summary. But,
No, but
I
that's
felt this
important.
one was important
That is
because they
important.
are defo doing the fuck. You're so rude. Poor Chris.
You edit this one.
No, I already
No,
told
she'll
you.
keep the crap in.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta remember, I'm leaving it all in.
The whole story about the stickers and everything.
Oh, well, I was going to leave that in anyway, if it was up to me, but that's fine. Okay, the only thing I don't really remember is how Cubus Oak actually plays into it, except that he's on the station.
He's the one that...
He knows the dirt, right?
he gives
Okay.
Winn some dirt.
Okay, so...
In exchange for going to Bajor.
So Vedek Bareil and Vedek Winn are both on Deep Space Nine. Bareil's there to fuck Kira, and Vedek Winn is there to fuck Bareil, really. She gets in touch with this guy, Cubus Oak, because he's got some dirt ski that she believes she can use to basically get Bareil out of his current place as, first place in the election cycle to be the new Kai. Because he was Kai Opaka's chosen, successor, but, they can't do it that way. They gotta vote or something. So, Kira gets manipulated into being like, I'll find the truth, Vedek Winn, because you're a dirty bitch and you're trying to fuck over my boyfriend. So, she does, and she starts looking into things, and basically, Cubus Oak, or whatever his name is, had information about the Kendra Valley massacre. There were collaborators who were working with the Cardassians. He was one of them. And he had information about who told the Cardassians about the location of the,
rebel base.
The rebel base, yeah.
Dantooine. Always Dantooine.
And this is what led to the Kendra Valley massacre. And unfortunately, there seems to be a trail of, looking at documents and deleting documents and being in particular places with particular people that seems to point to Vedek Bareil being the one who told everybody where the base was. So he's like, oh no, and drops out of the running, and fucking Vedek Winn wins, that evil douchebag.
It's in the name.
It is. Vedek wins. Kira, though, looked into it a little further after finding out this truth, and is like, Kai Opaka was the one who did it, and you didn't want to besmirch her good name, so you took the fall like an idiot. And he was like, yeah, I did that. And she was like, wow, Kai Opaka sacrificed her own son, because her son was there and Totes died.
Whoops.
And sacrificed her own son for the good of the many, which is definitely a trope in these Star Treks.
If only there was someplace they could go to talk to Opaka and ask her to clear up this mess.
I have a question, actually. Because I read a synopsis.
Someplace where they know she would still be alive.
I read a synopsis of this afterwards, and that specifically says, the late Kai Opaka.
She's not late.
I mean,
early. She's.
What do the rest of the Bajorans
They probably
think happened?
just think she's dead.
Yeah.
Well,
They think
and
she's
he
dead?
seemed to not, because he actually literally says, like, oh, Opaka, why did you leave us, or some shit, and it's like, why don't you know why she left you? Why don't the Bajorans know
that
why?
There's an unseen scene.
An unseen scene?
Where Opaka's like, just let everyone think I died.
Would that just be an unseen?
Because it probably would have been a problem if Opaka was alive, but
Can't go home again?
Couldn't go home. Like, that would probably cause an issue. So she's probably just let him think I died in the crash.
Yeah, Bajorans love having issues, and they would have run with that.
But anyway...
But also, Kira could have gone there and talked to Opaka.
Well, yeah, but it was too late, because he'd already thrown the election. What's the point? And she already knew anyway. She figured it out. But, good news, Kira and Bareil are going to continue fucking.
Good news.
Naturally.
So... that you don't have to worry about that. The bad news, though, is Vedek Winn, who, as we all know, is an evil bitch, is now in charge of things on the spiritual guidance of the Bajoran people, which can't be good.
What I want to know is, how come Vedeks have more impressive hats than Kai's?
Kai doesn't have to prove anything to you.
Yeah, but the Pope has the most impressive hat in the Catholic
Does
Church.
he?
I
A
think
big
so.
white hat with a cross on it? I don't think that's
Does
very
anybody
impressive.
else? Oh, it's more impressive than the hats.
Don't the Cardinals have neat red hats
Yeah,
that
they
are
would,
kind
but
of shapely,
no.
fun and shapely?
No, they're just like little yarmulkes.
What's wrong with yarmulkes?
Nothing. They're just not that interesting to look at.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about... Maybe it's like a modesty thing, because, if you have a big showy hat, you're kind of like, look at me, I'm an asshole.
But their suit is also all gold, so that kind of...
Religious hypocrisy.
All I know...
Wow, hypocrisy.
All I know is I am so grateful we've gotten to this episode, because now I won't keep almost slipping and saying Kai Winn.
Oh, you almost spoiled for that.
So many times! So many times!
It was inevitable, though. You kind of knew, we need to have a new Kai. It's going to be between Bareil and Winn, who are the ones we know. And there was a quote that I wrote down from Ira Stephen Bear. The quote is, "The trick to drama is to find the person who's going to cause the most conflict and put him in the most powerful position."
True.
Which is appropriate for every day today.
That was what the voters in 2016 decided.
Yep. We want to have more fun.
So,
There's going to be some great documentaries after
That's
this.
what the voters in 3 states did.
and the Electoral College.
Well, that's what I mean.
So...
I loved this episode.
I loved... it was a brief scene, but it was amazing. It was just Winn and...
Kira?
Cisco.
Oh my god.
He, relished saying the word enemies.
They don't think that our relationship is what it should be. Oh, you mean that we're enemies?
And he, like, relished saying enemies.
Yeah,
It was
he had
so
a little
beautiful.
shit-eating smile, kind of. He's really good at that, like, Mona Lisa smile. Like, you know it's there, it's in his eyes, but he's not outright disrespecting you to your face quite.
Yeah, and I like how
God, I love Sisko.
how he tried to trap her into like, oh, we'll have this public thing, it'll be a show of solidarity, but after the I don't want to interfere in the election, and then right after the election, she's like, what, tell Sisko that I'm going to have to postpone that event we planned.
I'm sure he's crushed.
But yeah, I don't know. I know Dukat gets a lot of credit for being like the best villain in Star Trek ever.
Oh, no.
But I think Kai Winn can give him as a strong challenger, because she is...
I think their styles are just so different.
I know, but
because he's very outwardly shady as fuck.
Right, but she's such a realistic type of villain.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
she's
thing,
like,
that's
you
why I
can
like
see her walking among us. She's like a very real...
Dukat's
thing.
a fun villain. You're just like, oh, he's here to be a bitch. She shows me, oh, this fucking bitch.
And like I actually get, I love episodes that feature her, but I also get like anxious
oh yeah, no, she's
and like
awful.
She makes me
stressed out
really
because I'm like,
anxious.
oh my, you
No.
fuck.
So well done.
No,
As
do
soon
we
as
ever
she
see
showed
her?
up, I knew
we ever
it.
see her with Dukat in some, or
Oh.
with or
Oh,
against
do we
Dukat?
see her with Dukat?
Whoa!
Oh no!
I hope that's true. I hope there's like a Kai Winn Dukat sex tape
Like
out there.
very, very
somewhere
angry
in
fucking.
Bajor. Yeah, it would be great. They'd be like, I fucking hate you. Let's go have sex.
Wow,
Oh,
that was the
God.
most maniacal Jake laugh. too.
Speaking
Well
of
done.
Bajor, though, this is very minor, but...
Don't let them in the Federation!
That's true, but I already called an episode of that. They fucked up Father Whatawaste's makeup at some point.
Bareil.
Because, like, when you saw my profile at one point, like, you could tell how fake the nose was.
Oh, the nose.
Like, it's obviously always fake.
The ridgy ridge.
But it looked like they were getting ready to pop off.
Whoops.
Ooh.
Gotta use more spirit gum next time, friends.
Something. It was really bad.
I really liked, as much as I really hate Vedek Winn, Kai Winn, that moment where when Kira's like, I know what you're doing, bitch, and at the end, Vedek Winn's like, if you ever talk to me with such disrespect again, you're gonna regret it!
Yeah, no,
I was like, oh,
when,
God.
when someone that usually talks in unsubtle euphemism just outright threatens, it's always like, oh.
And like
Well,
she
because
starts a
she's
sentence by
always-
being like, my child.
Yeah,
Like,
she's
it's
always
like-
so sweet. Even when she hates you, it's always my child. How could you think that? No,
Oh,
she fucking
she's-
told her. She's
that-
like, I will make you fucking regret it.
Yeah, that actress. What's
Louise
Louise
Fletcher.
Fletcher?
Is she from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
Yeah,
Nest?
Yeah, she was Nurse Ratched.
Nurse Ratched.
It's the perfect cast.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
and
so
she's
perfect.
just so
Good at it.
incredible in
Yeah.
both of those
Wonderful.
roles. Like,
No, I mean, she plays an amazing villain.
yeah.
She's wonderful.
See, if Sisko had any sense, here's what he would do. He'd be like,
Not let Bajor into the Federation.
Kai Winn, I talked to the people back at Starfleet, and they've decided to give you your own personal yacht. And then he gives her an Oberth-class starship. Would solve the problem for them.
How so?
It would explode within 10 minutes.
But this really is a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
For the Federation.
But it's gonna be great for the show.
Oh yeah, but like,
Because you'd never want to watch a show where and now Bareil's in charge, and then it's just boring for several seasons.
like the last time we saw her, she was working for the Circle, trying
Yeah.
to overthrow the Bajoran provisional government.
Oh,
Yep.
but she got to wipe that under the rug, though, and be like, oh, I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that guy, you were in on this? You...
Actually, really, no, it's great for the Federation, because whether they know it or not, they don't want Bajor.
Well, that's true.
Bajor's a mess.
Yeah,
Sisko
Bajor's
brought it up again and says, oh, well, you guys you'd like to be in the Federation, right? And I'm like, no!
Yeah, but
Both of you, stay away from each other!
this is like, I might have made this analogy before, but like, Bajor is Berlin.
Yeah.
In like,
Wait, what? Yeah.
in like the geopolitical, as being like the geopolitical center of two superpowers.
Yeah. I can
You
see
know, so it's like, who gets control? Or really, actually, probably a much more fitting analogy would be the West Bank, right? Like, that's what Bajor is. You have two strong powers that are both being like, all right, we're gonna, and the people that live there, who are the Bajorans, they're fucked no matter what. Because
What's the West Bank? Not that I don't know.
Jerusalem.
But I'm sure our listeners don't.
Yes.
Okay, so it is Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I just don't... I'm ignorant.
Yeah, like the trouble in Israel, in the Gaza Strip. So yeah, like the people that live there are the Bajorans, and they're just in the between these two powers. And the only reason they're even important at this point is because of the damn wormhole. And I feel like the Federation's interests here are the wormhole.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care about these people.
And the Cardassian interest is, well, the wormhole, and they just are bastards.
They really hate the Bajorans.
They just miss having their slaves.
Yeah. Well, and that thing is, like, I mean, it was in the first episode. Even the Federation didn't really care. There were, like, just enough people, including Picard, kind of nudging them about Bajor that they went, fine, we'll send a random guy to keep an eye on it. And then all of a sudden the wormhole, they're like, oh, fuck, now it matters.
Yeah, and he was also, like, a flunky, I think.
Who?
Cisco.
How do you mean?
Well, like, I think he lost his nerve after Wolf 359. And, like, he was just puttering around at
Utopia Planitia.
And now suddenly he's the most important Starfleet command officer in the quadrant.
It's like, hey, you know that guy who, like, in no way tries to hide when he hates people? He's now our key diplomat.
He was at Utopia Planitia. He was pissing off the
F8?
the F8 units.
No!
He's just annoying them. Trying to get them to smile.
He just kept telling people their ships looked dumb.
Yeah.
But, like, really eloquently, and in that very Cisco way he has.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought this was good. I mean, I don't know. The thing is I don't really have a lot of, like, criticism about this episode.
It has my least amount of notes just because it's a very straightforward.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
very
nice.
straightforward.
Because sometimes these can get convoluted.
Yeah, I mean, there is still, I think, some open questions. So, Oak, right? That was his name? Oak?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Cubus.
Cubus Oak.
Yeah.
Or Cubus?
I don't
Cubus.
remember.
Something like
I think it's Cubus. I actually think it might be Cubus.
Professor
but I don't
Oak.
remember.
Yes.
I thought the same
Piece
thing.
of shit grandson Gary. Fuck Gary.
Some Pokemon.
The original Pokemon.
Oh, dear.
So anyway, no, this guy, he was a known collaborator. He worked on Terok Nor,
Yep.
and Odo knew him from back in the day.
Apparently he signed off on a lot of death warrants.
So basically, when the Cardassians were, left, the Bajorans said, okay, anybody that helped the occupation
Oh, yeah.
is exiled.
This was the Ilvian Proclamation.
Which seems a little harsh, like, for without trial, shitty system. Like, you ever see, like, those, I think they showed this in Band of Brothers, when, like, towns in Europe would get liberated if there were, like, apparently local women, or local prostitutes, I should say, would like, who had serviced the occupying Germans, were, like, dragged out into the streets and head shaved. I mean,
Well, that's fucking crazy. I mean, they were probably
like
helping to keep the raping down.
yeah. Well, like, it was, but they were seen as being, oh, you were collaborators.
Bullshit! I was making a living.
But it was, so anyway, point is, it was like.
What if you're a shopkeeper and one of them walks into your shop and buys a popsicle?
I think it also extended to anybody that really helped. Like, it was basically, if you helped the Germans when they were occupying the town, once the town was liberated, you were gonna get tarred and feathered, basically.
But that's really shitty. Like, what choice do you have? If they're in your town,
and
if you tell them no, they're probably, I mean, they are Nazis,
It's
right?
one
They're probably
thing-
going to kill you.
It's one thing to actively be a part of the government like this Oak was.
Yeah, no,
And
I
just
mean,
be a
there's no
shopkeeper.
question that he was a bastard. I mean, what was the president of Vichy France? That guy. What was?
Yeah, I don't think anything happened to him.
No, I think he was. Something bad happened to him.
Oh, good.
What was his name? I can't.
I'm
remember.
looking him up now.
Did he get guillotined?
No, he didn't get guillotined, but he was I think he did time. Anyway,
But I mean, I think a lot of Vichy government officials just got very quietly shuffled back into the main government.
maybe.
Marshal Philippe Pétain.
Yeah. Did anything happen to him?
I
Chris Kattan?
don't know.
Anyway, Yeah, but, like, I still think the blanket... Oh, if you were... Like, was there a trial to determine who was a collaborator?
That's a good question.
How much do you have to collaborate to be a collaborator?
This guy was basically like, the equivalent of a, rubber stamp for what we will soon see is the terrible Cardassian legal system.
It is pretty bad.
So I can understand that. But anyway, what I really wanted to get at was, so this guy did work for the Cardassians, and his only, the evidence that he brings forward, which, let's be real, Kai Winn didn't need his evidence. She already knew what was happening.
She was tricking Kira so that she would tell him, I know what the fuck you did.
If she came out with, like, here's all the shit.
Yeah, Winn keeps her hands clean. That's why she made that Neela do her dirty work when they tried to get Bareil killed. And, I had nothing to do with it. And Kira even, says to her face, that was you, right? And she's like, you can't prove anything, can you?
To put this into perspective...
No, not more perspective.
When Kira is basically the Russian hackers to Winn's Donald Trump and Bareil's Hillary Clinton. She's out there digging up the dirt.
He was sentenced to life imprisonment by the provisional government of the French Republic.
So yeah, I mean, I wonder if that whole thing is a direct reference to that.
I didn't see any reference, but...
But anyway, so this guy is there to come
Kubis.
up. His evidence, though, is that Bareil came to the station
and had a shouting match.
With a guy
with Beck, the monk who delivered the message to the Cardassians.
So that kind of got dropped, I think, because once we found out the real truth was that that Bareil was trying to cover up the fact that
Kai Opaka
was involved.
Some people.
What, I don't know. What was the argument that they had? Him and Beck.
Just a normal argument. Could be any argument.
Is this a coincidence?
Well, it's probably just some sort of red herring situation
Or was that guy
one
lying?
of them really liked Star Trek Picard, and the other one didn't.
Or Beck was like, I don't know. Maybe Beck was like, we've got to tell people the truth or something, and Bareil was like, Opaka's too much of a symbol.
Kill yourself.
Something, I don't know.
Oh yeah, because he does know that it was Opaka. That's why he went because Bareil is the one that got rid of all the records.
It was also, was that just in the dream in the orb vision?
There were a lot of fucking creepy orb visions.
Lots of orb visions.
It looked like the guy hanged himself in the promenade.
That's what they said, because they go in the promenade and they look up and they said, it happened right here.
All right. So
yeah, so he did.
That's a very public. That's a statement suicide.
Yep.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like the suicide of just somebody that is regretting something that they did.
How long ago was this supposed to have been?
Not terribly long.
And no one looked further into this in the meantime?
Well, were they still under Cardassian rule?
Yeah, this would have been during Cardassian rule.
I mean, yeah, the Bajorans had their guilty party as far as they knew, so they were happy.
But yeah, I really don't know what Beck's actual involvement in this whole thing is.
They said he was the messenger.
Yeah, he was sort of.
Why does he go kill himself in the middle of the promenade publicly? It's just, if he was just feeling remorse for being involved, maybe it was to show hey, fuck you, Opaka, for making me do this shit. I don't know. Because maybe he did regret that he was involved, and he wanted to go public with it, which is why Bareil showed up to try and talk him down. He's like, fine, I won't go public with it. So instead he just does a very public suicide, but it doesn't really help because everyone still thinks
then they stop looking into it.
No, they stop looking into it, and everyone still thinks he's the guilty party, which he was, but
yeah,
not as guilty as
You look
Opaka.
Even guiltier now.
Yeah.
So,
Who knows what Beck was going on in that man's mind?
Well, maybe he was doing it so that people wouldn't look closer at Opaka's involvement. Maybe if you hang yourself very publicly, it's like, okay, you totally definitely did it. We can drop it now. No?
You know what happened? Bareil showed up, and he was like, Beck, we have the evidence. And Beck was like, where it's at.
I don't get it.
It's a Beck song.
There's two turntables and a microphone. Where it's at. Forget it.
I get it now, but I don't know the song.
I thought we weren't going to have one, and What I get for hoping.
Yeah, we should never hope on this podcast, Chris.
Or in life.
Nope, never.
Right.
Wow, this is
Anyway,
dark.
so the original twist of this episode that was brought up by the original writer was that Kubus was going to have killed Kira's father. And then as they dug into it, they would realize that, oh, he was covering for his daughter, who was the one who killed Kira's father.
Who's actually Kira?
Oh, what? No.
Yeah, that sounds too complicated.
And then out of this, they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna play with this idea that there's someone who's covering for someone. What if instead of killing Kira's father, we made it collaborating? And in fact, let's also work in the Vedeks because they're here doing something. In fact, dun dun dun, Kai Winn. Everyone wins.
Yeah, no, I think that's a better episode than the original idea.
So, well, if I understand Bajoran religion and I understand Kai Winn, this is basically like
Space Pope.
yes, but like if we let some fucking crazy evangelical super church type dude become Pope.
So,
and you also got to assume that, like, the Pope in this society is probably on par in terms of power as anybody else, or higher than anybody else.
This would be like being a pope in Renaissance Italy.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to being pope
It's
now.
as
The
much
most
it's
corrupt
as
and
much
powerful
a
popes
political it's as much a political thing as it is a religious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually really bad.
Well, they're in deep
Oh, yeah.
shit now.
I mean, are they? I mean, worse than they were. Their government's already a disaster.
Yeah, but like kind of like how the only thing about, say, someone like Biden running for president and potentially winning is that at least the people surrounding him would have maybe the right ideas, as opposed to what we finally got. Winn is
going to pick nothing but yes men.
That's true.
Like Bareil at least would have maybe had people who had best interests in mind and such.
So, how about that shit that Kai Opaka pulled?
Typical.
Some
Oh,
stuff.
Opaka. I'm thinking Winn. Yeah, Opaka gets more and more interesting, even though hasn't been on the show in like season and a half.
Like this, like, she got us through the occupation, but then they had to sacrifice a rebel cell to save
including her
a
son.
village. And it's like, because obviously
Sacrifice 65 or however many people.
40
something.
49 or something?
40
and I'm sure they died
sacrifice
very
to save
badly.
Well,
1,200.
she didn't ask anybody to give up anything more than what she was giving up.
Well,
It's interesting, though, because, of course, the episode starts off very cut and dry. Like, this is Oak. He's a collaborator, and he's a piece of shit. And now it's like, here's someone who did something that's technically collaboratory, but for, like, a good reason, maybe? And it's like, I don't think it expects us to forgive Oak at all, but it is still being like, this shit's complicated.
Yeah, Opaka, man. I don't know. She's, Yeah, I wonder now, it kind of puts her choice in her previous appearance now kind of in a new light, that maybe there's some penance. Maybe she feels like staying on that shithole planet.
Well, she also saw that in an orb experience, I think.
Yes, that's
She's
right,
like, staying on this planet. Yeah, that matches up. I'll do this because we see some more orb experiences in this, and they're even more vague than what Kira got to see when she saw, Jadzia wear a cool hat and all this stuff.
But we did finally get to see Speedball or whatever it's called. Kind
Ish.
of. It has a strange glove.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And a
I
ball.
thought, like, I don't. Once you know what actually happened, looking back on those orb
mostly makes
visions
sense,
were
yeah.
made. Like, if you were Bareil, you should have known.
Yeah, he already knows the full story.
What does Bareil know from these visions? Because
Well-
he sees himself as Kai.
Well, he sees himself as Kai. He sees Opaka leading him, and someone says, "Oh, she walks a narrow path. Be careful." Meaning, basically, don't go with her because she killed her own son and a bunch of people.
Well, and every vision of himself as Kai ends with some sort of disaster.
Yeah, when he sees the hanging corpse of Beck and they take it down, he's like, "Oh no, Beck." They're like, "No, that's you."
And there's a snake, and he gets stabbed. And
Well, he literally gets stabbed by Kira moments before Kira walks in to tell him, "Oh, by the way, I found out your dirty secret, bitch."
And also, he has to make out with Kai Winn at that one time, which...
What happened? I don't remember that.
In the vision.
Yeah.
He does. He makes out with Kai
And what
Winn.
does that represent? How the fuck do they determine what these fucking visions mean? It's some very Nostradamus bullshit. That you can make it mean whatever the fuck you want if you want in hindsight.
That's the thing with visions.
That's the thing with religion.
Yeah, but I think the fact that he saw Beck specifically in his vision should have been a pretty good clue that something involving that was going to come
My
up.
past is going to come back to haunt me. Fuck.
What about the snake she tries to make him pick up, though? Because I feel like if she was handing him the snake, it would be like...
when the snake turns into a noose.
It would be like, yes, she is fucking you over directly, but why would the prophets be giving him the snake?
Like, who handed... I thought it was Winn that handed him the snake.
It was a gift from the prophets. You have to take it, something, something.
I think that was just shit that she'd say, though.
Oh.
I think it was in the context of the vision.
So I missed that it was Winn giving it to him. So that makes sense.
I think it was.
I thought it was Opaka, but
maybe
I do not remember.
I don't remember either.
Well, either way, he gets handed the bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I'll say this. Winn says something that I actually agree with, which we're not agree with. I understand more. When Winn is talking to like a whole bunch of children, as she usually does, and she says, oh, everyone has to be good because the prophets only like you if you're good. And all the children are like, yay, we'll be good. And then Bareil walks in and says, no, the prophets love you no matter what. To which I say, no, the only reason you should have religion is to make people be good. What are you doing, Bareil? Keep the children in control.
Yeah, really, let the children fucking fall for that. Otherwise... I mean, they're children.
That's the point of religion. I told my brother this once because I took a great anthropology course in college, and what my teacher says was, out of all the religions, like the two that are the best at keeping their people in control were the Egyptians and anyone doing like a Judeo-Christian kind of a thing. Because in Egypt, if you don't live a good life, you don't get to go to the afterlife, even though you're going to be a servant in the afterlife anyway. But you get to at least have an afterlife. Otherwise, if you're not good, you go fucking nowhere. And in, Judeo-Christian religions, your afterlife is between heaven and hell kind of a bullshit.
Yeah, but Jews don't have hell.
Well, they have to be good anyway.
I don't think they do. Do they?
I don't know enough about Judaism.
Well, I guess they have the Ten Commandments, right? Isn't that's their book?
There's got to be some kind of downside.
But there's no hell.
But
so maybe
it's
it's that if you don't go to heaven, you don't go anywhere. So maybe it's like what you were just saying.
Technically, I don't think they even expressly state there is a hell in the New Testament either. There's just
I'm pretty sure that was
punishment.
I'm pretty sure that was even just the church just invented that shit.
Well, I know they made up purgatory.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, though, on the other hand, in the long run, I think the Abrahamic religions were a mistake. I mean, look where it's gotten us.
I mean, sure, but there's a lot of religions that probably we'd be better off without.
All of them.
Most of
probably.
them, yeah, probably.
If you look at the impact on humanity over time.
We should have stuck with the Greco-Roman stuff.
Yep.
It's one that makes the most sense to me. It's like
sacrifice a goat every so often, you'll be fine.
Well, then it's like when you go to Christianity, it's like, why do bad things happen to good people? Oh, it's part of God's unknowable plan. You go to the Greco-Roman. Why do bad things happen to good people? Because the gods don't give a fuck about any of you. They are too busy whoring and fighting. Life was an accident. They wanted you to die, but Prometheus stole fire from Zeus to fuck with him. That makes way more sense to me than anything else.
Your Schreibenhand,
we got another episode to talk about
after
Chris has cut all of that.
Enough Hitler.
I am not cutting Einstepp or whatever the fuck it is I said.
You said Einstepp. All right.
Chris thinks he's funny.
Second episode we did today, or going to talk about today, is Tribunal. This is an interesting one. We open.
I like this one.
No, I did too. We open with Chief O'Brien being really reticent to go on vacation with his wife. Who can blame him? It's true. That's what happens. It's great.
Man, that scene when he had to say through gritted teeth that Keiko was the most loving and supportive person he's ever met.
You're getting ahead, but yes, what a liar. But just as the Mr. and Mrs. are starting to get down and dirty, thank God we were interrupted. They're boarded by some Cardis, and they're like, "You're a war criminal, bitch. We're taking you with us." Oh, he also ran into like a buddy that he knew on DS9,
from the
which is sort
Rutledge.
of important.
Sort of.
Well, it's very important. Raymond Boone. I know, but we're gonna get into it, right? But anyway, so he's told, hey, so we know you did some shit. You're guilty. We're gonna have a televised trial where your lawyer will explain why we know you're guilty.
We'll put it up on Netflix.
And that'll be it. So you're gonna probably die or work in mines or do something awful. But yeah, we know you're guilty and that's that.
No. He had already been sentenced to death
Well,
before
yes.
the trial.
Okay,
Yeah, we've
death.
already-
I couldn't remember if that was the case.
We've scheduled your execution. Let's just go through the trial first.
Which is so incredible. Like, just
Well,
to...
it's funny because Garrick mentioned this previously.
Yeah,
about
in
how,
the Maquis, I think.
Yeah, how in Cardassian law the outcome of the trial is always known. So now we get to actually see
So
that.
it's kind of like watching an episode of Columbo. You already know who did it. You got to watch now how Columbo figured it out.
That's right.
That's what it's like.
So what did I do?
Columbo, Cardassian law. All right. They find out about this on Deep Space Nine because Keiko is allowed to go.
Because it's good for ratings to see the spouses cry.
Yeah, to have her show up and cry.
Meanwhile, Keiko would just be like, yes, kill him. Kill him.
She goes back and she's like, oh no, help. And Odo's like, I'm going to be the Nestor. And whatever.
What is a Nestor?
A Nestor
The long-eared Christmas donkey.
Hee-haw, hee-haw.
Oh, wait, that's Dominic.
No, Nestor is a donkey, though.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry,
No,
go on.
Dominic the donkey is hee-haw, hee-haw. Nestor the long-eared donkey is like a Rankin Bass special.
I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on.
that's
Now
right.
what's happening?
Rankin Bass.
Is this more Animal Crossing?
No,
it's
it's
an
Christmas
old
shit.
Christmas special.
Rankin Bass. They did Rudolph and
Oh, was that Nestor?
all that
Yes.
trash.
Cute.
Yeah, but it's one of the ones you've
Oh,
never
okay.
probably heard of
Yeah,
because
I
it's
don't know.
garbage.
Anyway, go on, sorry.
Nestor is basically just like an advisor
Oh, okay.
to
That's
the...
I think the Nestor. What we find out is that the Nestor's job is to convince the accused to confess.
Oh, that's right. But only certain people can do it, people who have been recognized by the Cardassian court, and Odo happens to be one of those people that is recognized, or is permitted to be there. So he gets to go and help, Keiko goes, and basically a trial happens, and Odo keeps interrupting and being like,
Oh my god, I
don't understand Cardassian law, but this seems wrong.
I loved Macbar every time Odo interrupted. He's like, Odo!
I am embarrassed. I am humiliated. It's so good. But yeah, so basically it's just courtroom shenanigans, and what happens is, even though Odo was trying his best, Odo doesn't save the day.
No.
What saves the day is when... Who even is it? Is it Cisco and Dax? Who shows up with this butthole?
Julian helped, in his own way.
Because basically Garrick told the Maquis, it's like, hey, if you need to secretly get information in Deep Space Nine, go talk to their doctor. He'll tell everybody.
He loves covert shit so much. And when you go there and you tell him not to turn around and look at you.
So what happens is they find Raymond Boone, and it turns out his wife hasn't heard from him in 8 years. His family hasn't heard from him in 8 years. Guess what? He's a Cardassian that had some plastic-ass surgery, and he's been running around doing some dirty business for the Cardassians.
It's another Cardassian long con, and
Yep.
I love that.
It's great. So they bring him.
Fucking
They
Cardassians.
bring
so
him in.
brilliant.
They bring him in. They literally just walk him in a door. The judge looks over, realizes,
Shits
oh
herself.
fuck, and goes, dismissed, clunk.
Well, still guilty, but I shall show clemency. So we get to have our cake and eat it too.
I like that
She
her
loves
gavel
cake.
was like a fucking, just a rock that she slams with like as much anger
Oh, she was so
as
pissed
possible.
at the end.
That
Okay.
wasn't as good as the Klingon judge's gavel,
one that sparks.
which had sparks that came out of
Yeah,
it.
well, there are no sparks. Just spoons. Just spoons, no sparks.
So,
And everybody goes home and we all live happily ever after.
Oh man.
so that lawyer.
Oh, he was my
Hilarious.
favorite.
I loved him.
You flatter me, sir! You flatter me, sir!
I feel like he should have been in Galaxy
So
Quest as one of the...
beautifully over the
knows.
top and theatrical. It's also just funny to see like a Cardassian in like basically it looked like he was wearing layers upon layers of cardigans. He's like, which cardigan do I wish to wear today? I know! All of them!
But given how, what's interesting about that guy is that given how,
Mrs. Kovat?
yeah,
Yeah.
given how, Cardassian justice system works, he's basically a performer. He's
Yeah.
a TV actor.
Yeah, no, he in no way went to law
Of course he's
school.
hammy. Of
Yeah.
course he's over the top.
The fact that he wins at the end, he's gonna get fucking murdered.
They're going to kill me.
Yeah, like
I wasn't meant to win.
He's there because he looks like a lawyer.
Yeah.
and he
knows all the rules.
and
Smells
he
like a
acts
lawyer.
like a lawyer.
Talks like a lawyer.
My God, he's a duck.
Yeah, what I find most interesting about this is that it seems like the trial, this whole thing, it's like this weird reality show. It's like the Running Man.
So my first thought, and I was wrong, was I was wondering if this was like a commentary on the media circus that had been the O.J. Simpson trial. But in fact, that would be a year later.
Okay, I was gonna say, what is the timing line up?
However, this was after the Menendez trial, which was the first sort of really big media circus trial after the founding of a court TV.
What was it? I don't remember this.
Oh, the
case.
Menendez kids killed their parents.
Basically, the
right,
Menendez,
right.
that
I
was
remember this.
that trial was like, it probably would have been a bigger deal in retrospect if not for the fact that OJ happened like 3 years later. But at the time, it was such a big deal. There was a whole B plot parodying it in The Cable Guy.
Yeah.
That's right, there is.
That's a parody of the Menendez trial, and it was like, again, there had been media circus trials before, but this was
I
the
think they were Asian.
that's the line of The Cable Guy.
Jake
I
loves
don't
the same
remember
one.
it.
That's like that fucking movie. I get is so underrated. I
It is.
love that movie.
I want to see it again someday because I saw it, like, what did it come out, a year after Ace Ventura?
That's the thing.
I saw it when I was, like, 11 because we thought it was going to be Ace Ventura
Jim Carrey.
hijinks, right? It was not.
It's way too cerebral.
And I was
to
not
be-
into it
My-
as an 11-year-old
What drove
child.
me nuts. I liked it as a kid, but what drove me nuts was because I grew up on like Nick at Night reruns.
We've said this before.
We have.
Go
Yes.
ahead, say it anyway.
Sorry.
I don't remember.
But it's the fact that like all the cover names he uses are obviously characters from TV, and I'm like, Matthew Broderick, how do you not know this?
Well, Jack Black figured it out.
He did because he's not
Jack
dead yet.
Black is in that movie?
Yeah, that's probably one of his first.
Did I
major
say that?
roles.
Because
I
I
don't
didn't
remember.
But yeah, so like either way,
Chris can go back and literally find the audio from a different episode where we
Just
bring this
splice
up
it in.
and just use
We
that.
should do a 10 forward on the Cable Guy one of these days.
Ooh, sure.
I would be down because then I could
Anyway.
watch it again.
But I do kind of wonder if there was, because whether they were commenting on it or not, it does seem very prescient of the sort of like major, national court TV sort of thing. There's like that fucking, we've already figured it out judge. I was just like, wow, they predicted Nancy Grace right down to the fucking crazy eyes.
Oh, her eyes look great.
Yeah, he had great hair too.
Oh, I hated that hair. It was so
Oh,
dumb.
Mac Bar's hair? I loved Mac Bar's hair. It looked cool.
I thought it was awful, but I mean,
Like, I mean,
it fit for what
It
they were
was
doing.
awful
True.
hair. I just thought it was a fun thing
Yes,
to have.
I agree with
But yeah,
that.
this idea of the like sort of the a trial not just on television, but the trial as television.
And like the jury or the witnesses, like whoever those
Whatever they-
people were,
yeah,
they
the-
were like hitting the
Yeah.
table and shit.
There's kind of
what was going on
there.
Yeah, the whole trial thing was very fun, very interesting, very fun, very cool, very
Enjoyed
legal,
it.
very cool.
O'Brien not giving them what they wanted. That was good.
I have to say that
Odo roughing things up.
I was very, I liked the judge, but I felt like her accent or whatever was, very inconsistent.
Oh, I didn't notice.
There were times when she would sound, super duper Midwestern, and then times when she would be obviously trying to do something specific for the role, and I was just really like, what is happening? I was a little bit distracted by that.
Well,
She's
it's
also
Avery
an
Brooks'
actor
fault.
in a way, right? So maybe
True.
sometimes she puts on her judge voice.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is-
maybe on the other hand, she just...
Maybe the actor
Not
just
great.
fucked up.
This was when he
Yeah.
directed, right?
Avery Brooks?
Yes.
Yeah, this was Avery Brooks' first
Oh,
directorial
really? He
episode.
did a good job.
He did.
I thought it was really
It's very
good.
funny. I read a quote by his assistant director, B.C. Cameron, and she said she had so much trouble working with Avery Brooks because his directing style was just like his acting style.
Jazz Shatner.
in which he's just so aloof and you can't read him. And she came to him eventually and said, Avery, I have no idea what you want.
Avery, what the fuck?
Because I can't tell when you're ever joking about something or whether you're serious about something. Like I can't tell if you have a sense of humor. And he says, "Oh, well, you must not know me very well." And she's like, "I don't know what you want."
I don't know you at all, sir. We've just met.
And he says, "Oh, how can we fix that?" And she says, you could tell me. And he's like, oh! Well, in
Is that all?
And then they had a meeting and they figured out what they wanted out of a scene. It's like, oh my god! Wow!
That's funny. Him as a director must be interesting.
Yeah, but no, I think he did a good job with it. And
Yeah,
I don't know. I really liked the lawyer.
Oh, he was amazing. That was the perfect way to play him. Because like you said, he's not there to be a lawyer. He's there to be...
To look like a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's also interesting to me that, like, other aspects, like, there's the predetermined verdict, there's the predetermined sentence.
Yep.
The trial is just for public enjoyment.
Played on giant public televisions.
It's so 1984.
Yeah.
And everything looks a little bit, 1984, kind of like future dystopia. Everything is gray and dark. And you're like, yeah, that's Cardassian Prime. Accurate.
But another interesting is that you don't even know what your charges are.
Yeah.
Like the only
You'll find out at the trial.
The only reason O'Brien knew what the charges were is because
Odo told
him once they figured it out. I also find it interesting though that like Boone has been a deep undercover
sleeper agent
for 8 years.
Yep.
Which sounds like it encapsulates the time that O'Brien knew him on the Rutledge.
At least part of it.
So O'Brien may have never even known the real Boone. He might have only ever known this Cardassian agent.
Yeah.
So that's a huge investment.
Yeah.
In an intelligence
That is
operation.
how these people do.
Well, the thing is, I'm sure they also don't know how they're going to use Boone yet. They're just like, he's just out there like, okay, we know we'll need him eventually. He's an option for sometime in the future when we think of something. There could be tons of these guys just out serving in Starfleet right now.
But to take...
true.
I mean, in the future.
I
But
this
right
is
now.
what the motivation is. Like, to take down Miles O'Brien?
Well,
we
no,
got him, boys!
Well, no. This specifically...
He said a bad thing about a Cardassian in a bar once.
No, this specifically... They did say,
He did
specifically,
say that.
This guy just happened to be connected to O'Brien. What it was to make it look like the Federation was very actively supplying the Maquis.
But they went through all this trouble to make it look like O'Brien had acted alone.
Well, yeah, but what did they say? Something like they couldn't...
I don't remember.
I don't remember exactly.
Like,
but
they had them,
Oh, that they couldn't keep... That the Federation couldn't, like, enforce its own sort of anything, and that would force them to recall their colonies and yada yada.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yes, as much as I love to see O'Brien getting tooth yanked, it's...
the O'Brien Must Suffer episodes are some of the best.
Yeah,
parts.
they're great. They're always good. But
I know next week is going to be our season wrap, and I'm sure they're all of mine are going to be like all the ones where O'Brien gets tortured.
Like, it could have been... Like, this... You know what this episode... Let's just take... It's Sisko taking Jake on a vacation. They get stopped by the Cardis. And
they take Jake away.
And they arrest Jake. No, and they arrest Sisko. Because Sisko would be a much bigger deal, I think, if he had been collaborating with the Maquis.
That's true.
Yeah, but I guess the thing was they had this guy who was posing as Boone, and this guy had a connection to
I'm sure they've got
O'Brien.
another one that could pin it on Sisko.
But they
pretty
really
well.
only needed Boone to get a voice sample.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess he also probably opened the locker and did the beaming of the things. But I feel like anybody could have done that. Like, how hard is it? Like, he only got, 3 sentences worth of voice sample from O'Brien. I'm sure anybody could be like, oh, you must be Benjamin Sisko. Could you say your name? How do you pronounce that?
You know what it is? Here's the thing. You can fake Sisko's words, but you can't fake
true.
that cadence.
They've been trying.
The machine would just shut down.
Majel Barrett always knows.
Yeah. So I like, when O'Brien was trying to not go on vacation, which feels very...
Who wants to be with Keiko?
It's even like when, Scotty had to be forced to not read his technical manuals. Engineers are just workaholics.
Yeah.
But
and they made a direct reference to that.
Yeah,
him
he's
reading
got...
technical
How
manuals.
many manuals did you bring, Miles?
Only 30 or 40.
Everyone I could lay my fucking hands on, love.
But
Because I won't be laying my hands on you.
what I thought was kind of funny, though, was, at one point Dax is like, oh, yeah, I'll treat the whatever reactor like my own child. And my first thought was, Wait, but by your own admission, you were a terrible parent. Repeatedly. Miles, don't go!
Yes.
No, I love there's so many like little Miles Keiko moments that are hilarious when you view it from the lens that we do. The fact that Keiko and Miles fucking hate each other.
I don't think they do.
Like Miles says to somebody like, "Oh, Keiko hates it when I'm late, and I'm always late."
Did you see that incredibly awkward, like, quote-unquote romantic kiss?
Oh, the kissing they were doing was terrible.
I tried not to look.
I've just decided that they're like it's like a Married with Children type scenario where Miles is out there working hard and Keiko just wants him to bone her, and he's like bored with it. He's like,
But
what?
like even I mean, I know, like, we joke about them hating each other. In the show, they actually are supposed to love each other. But that kiss was bad.
Their chemistry is rotten.
I wonder if the actors just didn't really get on. Like, I don't know.
Maybe the actors assume that the characters hate each other.
Maybe.
And they've been playing into this the whole time.
What racist-ass motherfucker, by the way, decided that when Miles asked for music, it had to be shamisen music?
Is that an actual thing? I don't know what it is.
It's that sort of it's a particular type of East Asian, I think mostly Japanese sort of guitar. It's that very stereotypical sort of very plingy.
It's the music that's playing in every Chinese restaurant.
Oh, I assumed it was a future thing.
No, it was supposed to be like a shamisen, and it's like really. It's like how it's like, kind of like how they originally wanted Sulu to have a samurai sword in Naked Time, and he was like, "Could we not?"
Yeah, it's very stereotypical.
Do you have to?
Like, they really just went with, like, the lowest common denominator. Like, yeah, not that she shouldn't necessarily like the music of her youth, but it's like, when you're on television and it's the future and it's a more sort of, like, broad society with all these things, like really? Fucking really,
For all we
guys?
know, she really likes early aughts emo.
That's the thing, you know? It's like, it's like, you lazy fucks.
You don't have to go all the
So
way
awkward.
back to the fucking ancestral past.
Yeah, that'd be like...
Maybe she had a weak spot for U2.
Yeah, well, that's expensive.
No.
Expensive?
Getting the rights to play U2
yes.
in your TV show.
Oh, I'm just saying,
That
like,
did.
I just mean...
Expensive.
I mean, I don't know anyone who likes U2,
Yeah,
but
nobody
my
likes-
point is...
I think people like U2.
If she was into
U2, but
U2, I'd be
hate
like,
Bono.
even more reason to dislike Keiko. Big U2 fan.
What was the... I wrote on this line that O'Brien says, and I forget what the reference was, where O'Brien says, must have been somebody else in bed with us.
Oh, because he didn't remember the whole conversation they had about the camera. and
Oh,
stuff.
right, when they were in bed.
But Miles, you said you were gonna bring the camera!
Oh, there must have been somebody else in bed with us.
Bitch,
oh,
we'll
no, Keiko,
fucking
foiled.
replicate one, for fuck's sake.
That's true.
Oh,
You
yeah.
bitch.
I mean, she really was actually quite lighthearted about it.
You know, she wasn't really that bad. I was hyperbolizing.
Oh, you know what I loved? Is that Kira just entertains the thought that, you know what? Miles might be guilty of this, though.
I love how she, of all people, by the way, is like, well, we all know how he feels about the Cardassians. Like, bitch, just like you do. You don't act like you're innocent in this.
She's
was
like,
actually Kira.
I've called them some shit in my day. She's like looking behind her. Am I going to be taken away?
Seriously.
Kira's out there sending weapons to the Maquis.
Well, but to be
no
fair,
consequences.
He definitely... Maybe it's because they, like... There would be, like, military records that he was in the Cardassian War or whatever the fuck. She was kind of like an underground type. Probably hard to find their registry.
Well, and again, they also specifically wanted a Starfleet officer, not a Bajoran.
Makes for some good-ass TV,
What
y'all.
would have been, I wish there was, like, a final scene with Boone talking to,
Cardassian Boone.
Cardassian Boone talking to
Well, yeah,
Gullivec,
yes.
and Gullivec's like, Boone, I can't believe you fucked this up. And Boone's like, but that's the thing. I went to the weapons locker to steal the photon torpedoes, and they were already gone.
In that case, would it be Kira or Quark? Because I'm sure the Cardassians could nail Quark for literally
Actually,
anything.
It was Nog. He traded them for a gross of self-stealing... Fuck! I still can't say it! I wish that was on purpose, but it wasn't. God damn it! Self-sealing stem bolts.
Wow.
Do you see what you've done?
So angry.
Do you want to try it again?
No,
or should we just robo-voice it
fine.
over? Self-sealing stem bolts.
I like to pretend that
Fucking phrase.
when they were out originally, when the Starfleet was originally sending supplies to outfit Deep Space Nine, they're like, hey, we're kind of low on photons. And they're just like, just throw some metal scraps in a case. They'll never need them.
They don't use photons there. They're a space station. Oh, God, what was it? Great lines where Odo was just
I regret that I have no teeth to offer to the Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah,
I loved that
was
line.
Great.
That was fucking badass.
Said with such contempt.
I love Odo more with literally every episode I watch.
Is it as badass as Cisco winning the trial without saying a fucking word?
No, that's true.
He just walks in and they're like, oh no, we're done now.
Well, that means the judge
was
in on it.
She knew.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Which seems unnecessary to bring her into the plot. Like this seems like Gul Evek's personal thing.
Maybe maybe it makes it more fun for
She's
her.
banging Vedek, probably.
Maybe it's their kink.
Could be.
Killing O'Brien.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if he had done.
Imagine
Remember if
if you could
Cisco
only
had
get
done
off
that.
by
If he had just
killing
walked
O'Brien.
in with Boone and she wasn't in on the plot.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
just like, why are these two humans just okay? Whatever.
You know what?
Guilty. Sentence to be carried out.
In the back had to go like, oh, hold on.
Oh no. You know what's most sad is that this is how we learn that Boone died.
Poor Boone. That's how his wife finds out.
Oh no.
So everybody
Well, she
finds
probably
out.
already assumed. Otherwise, she's been living for the last 8 years thinking that he just fucked off and was cheating on her.
Well, no,
She holds
her
a candle for Boone. Okay.
her assumption had been that because she said he came back from
And he was different.
a different. She thought that he'd been tortured or something, and that just
Yeah, but he hadn't talked to them in 8 years. They said.
Yeah, because he
his
divorced
parents.
her.
Yeah, but his wife he'd actually been with briefly. It sounds like.
Oh.
Like long enough for her to be like, you're different.
And he was like, okay, bye.
But rather than be like, oh wait, you're literally different, she just assumed his experience in the war had understandably changed him.
So all species like doing this get cosmetic surgery to look like a different species thing to go undercover.
Well, that's it. It's
We're
really
all big
easy
fans of Face Off.
to make yourself look like a human. Because humans have the least elaborate bullshit.
Just
like-
scrape off some of the spoons. There we go.
No, we saw Kirk Kirk pretend to be a Romulan.
No, I know,
It
but
was
Deanna
super
Troy,
great.
We saw Picard.
That wasn't by any other name.
We even
right?
saw
No,
Data
no,
do it.
no. The other
Oh,
one,
yeah.
the fucking Enterprise incident.
Yes, the one.
Everybody likes to disguise themselves.
Yeah. It's really handy when all the galaxy is, born from the same seeds.
It's just fun when you get to put your actors that are not in makeup.
Yeah.
I
And
want to
vice
see
versa.
one of them
Or
go
like-
undercover with the Hortus.
Or just a hat. Just put a hat on Spock's ears. There you go. He's a human.
Here you go. We're going to drape this big rug over you. Just go.
It's over a few seasons, but there's a really good species crossover episode in DS9.
Oh, nice.
Is it Andorian?
No.
I don't think we'll really see Andorians again until Enterprise.
Damn it.
There's one coming up in a few weeks, I think, too, where we get to see a character don somebody else's
Somebody
else's headgear.
Nice.
My-
I
Go ahead.
nope. I got nothing.
No, I was going to change.
Go ahead. I really.
This
don't
is
have
my
anything.
last
I don't
note.
have
My
anything
last note is this lawyer is basically Cogley. Finney is alive.
You flatter me, sir. You flatter me.
to say.
Oh,
I loved that.
Odo, last episode.
Odo,
Very
last
briefly,
episode.
completely forgot.
Oh noes.
When Kira's all like, oh, I love him, Odo, and Odo kind of has a moment of just like, oh, okay then.
Why couldn't you love me? Why not Odo?
It was like, oh, that's,
His
Weird.
poor feelings. I love Odo.
he's great. He's great in this one too.
He is great. He's always great.
Because he's just so, constantly in contempt of court. It's amazing.
But they don't stop him.
No.
They can't.
You know why?
I
It's
guess.
great television.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? This is great. He can sit there and bitch. It'll help ratings.
We've
We're
got
going to
an-
find him guilty anyway.
Yeah, we've got an answer for anything he throws at us.
It's like, this is wonderful.
Wonderful.
You say you have sources for where you got this information. What are these sources?
Reliable sources. Confidential sources.
Top men.
What
Yeah.
is that from again?
The first Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Cats.
he's Mr. Top Cat.
Ah,
Well,
what do we have to look forward to?
if you
Caitlin?
liked that star thing, we'll be doing another star thing next week when we talk about the episodes The Gem Hadar, and then we open season 3.
What? It's going fast.
I know, season 3, Search, parts 1 and 2.
Not to be confused with The Chase.
No, it wouldn't be. Don't confuse
Very
it.
different title.
Why
I
would
don't know,
it be?
search and chase, they kind of sound similar.
No.
Hide and seek?
I
No,
guess.
shoots and ladders.
Yes.
No, the chase was just a terrible episode, and these are good episodes.
I know. I
Cool.
watched them by mistake because I thought we were recording them this week.
They got the same actress.
I'll get to rewatch them.
Avery
now.
Brooks? You know,
Yeah,
he
but-
directed this.
If you like what you heard today and you'd like to hear more, what is wrong with you? But if you do want to, you can find us on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcasts. You can give us a follow on Facebook by searching for A Star to Steer Her By. We are on Twitter and Tumblr as at SSHB Podcast. And you can check out sshbpodcast.com, but that's just going to bring you to Tumblr for now.
Hey, you got all this extra time now that we're stuck at home with pandemics. Make the website.
We have extra time. Where does this extra time?
I have an answer. You're still working, but you have your commute time.
Yeah, that's Jake's private time now.
That's toilet time. That's where I'm shitting.
How did you do that on your commute?
I think you know. He wears diapers. You of all people should know.
Why do you think I've been buying new underwear every week?
Oh no!
This has been Chris.
Why do you think the toilet's been clogged for months?
Oh no!
This is always Ames.
I'm Caitlin.
I flush my underwear.
He's Jake.
Oh, Rossi's here. Great.
See, kids? Ames coughs into the nook of her elbow. Be like Ames.
They can't see. It's a
I cough right into Nook's face.
Oh my god. Side note. I was texting my cousin Terry. She has named him Tanuki Fucko. That's what she calls him now. And I was like, I never noticed his grotesquely huge balls.
What?
After this, we'll tell you about Tanuki. Just
Mr.
remind
Nook,
us.
no.
That's a Japanese raccoon.
Yeah, but they have big balls.
Oh, do they?
They do.
The Animal Crossing character? Or
No,
the
No,
actual
the
animal?
actual, like,
Oh
fictional.
no,
Well,
she's looking it up.
Well, it's not real.
You
It's,
no,
see
I-
a raccoon's balls.
What?
well, no, but the Tanuki specifically is like a mythical creature that doesn't just have huge balls. They can also, like, change the size of them at will for some
Tanukis
reason.
are not mythical.
Yeah,
well,
they
the
are.
mythical version of them.
Oh. I was like, because Tanukis
Yeah, the
exist.
raccoon dog, yeah. But there's, like, for some reason in Japanese myth, there are, like, talking Tanuki, and they can change the size of their
Oh my
balls.
god, they're so
They're
fucking cute.
so cute.
I didn't know they were a real thing. They're presh.
They're unbearably cute.
Unbearably, because they kind of
Mario
look
has
like
a costume.
squirrel
Yeah, the
bears.
Tanuki suit.
I know.
Yeah, it also doesn't have balls. Anyway, the mythical version of a Tanuki has gigantic balls, which apparently they can Ant-Man, which I didn't realize. By Ant-Man, I mean get smaller or larger.
There's a Studio Ghibli movie starring them, complete with shape-changing balls.
What? Why didn't America get this movie?
We did, because Disney's contract required they import it, but needless to say, they didn't give it a theatrical release. They very quietly released it
Is it
straight
still
to video.
possible to get it?
I don't fucking know.
Dude, I want a big balls movie.
That's our opening.